Hi everyone, welcome to Stream Queens, a show about our reactions and responses to the best original content streaming right now. I'm your host, Shani B.
And I'm your host, Robert. Today we're talking about the new Hulu original film, Fire Island, starring Bowen Yang and Margaret Cho. If you haven't seen it, it's about a group of friends spending the week on Fire Island for the last time together. So, what did you think of this movie?
I love it. I decided to describe this as a film starring Margaret Cho because even though she's not totally integral to the story, I'm just so grateful she was there. I love her stomach tattoos. I loved so much about this movie. It was so fun. It was really sweet. I am here for a rom-com about gay characters that does not just involve a coming out story. So I had a great time watching this, and it was really funny. In so many ways, too. I think I died laughing at the Amy Schumer joke that they made a couple of times in there. That was pretty great. And it just made me be like, oh, I need to go to Fire Island just to see this beautiful place and like vibe on these amazing parties and this like lively experience. And it made me, first tell me how you feel about this movie and what your reactions are. But then I want to know if you ever went to Fire Island.
I really liked it a lot. Or I liked it more than I thought I would. I think there were definitely a lot of very funny one-liners. I'm a huge fan of Bowen Yang from SNL, so I was excited that he was in this. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'm actually really interested to see how far this goes outside of like gay men and women. I'm excited to see how far this goes outside of that. It's pretty mainstream, definitely not an indie flick. I'm excited to see how big it gets.
I guess like that's the fun thing about this that we'll talk about when it comes to recommending, this being so mainstream. It's so interesting you say that. But before we move on to kind of the best parts and, all the great performances, including Sir Bowen Yang, have you ever gone to Fire Island? Like when we lived in New York, did you ever go out there?
I did not. Did you?
Same. I never have. And that's why I was feeling like mad FOMO and being like, shit, I always heard stories about Fire Island, but I never went. And so I was really grateful for this movie to sort of take me there.
Same. Yeah, it's so funny. When I put it on, my husband was like, wait, this isn't about that documentary that you watched, Fire Island?
There's a documentary?
It was called Fire Festival.
Oh, Fire Festival.
He got it confused. I was like, oh my God, that was a mix up with that. But no, yeah, I've never been. It was interesting to see this movie and see like what the fuck goes on at Fire Island. Because I've been asked a lot of times, have you gone? What do you think of it? But I just never had the opportunity. So this was kind of a nice little glimpse into it.
Totally. Yeah, I really appreciated being able to get an insight into a world that, as like, I'm just an ally, so I can't really get into those, sex rooms that I was also like, oh shit, they're throwing it down in this. Like,
yeah,
it was just amazing to see the openness of the storytelling and to get into some of the performances. Joel Kim Booster, who played Noah, who like wrote this movie and definitely kind of carries it. It's about him and Bowen Yang, but it is really about him ultimately.
Yeah.
And I thought he was so great, not to mention crazy attractive. There were so many good-looking gay dudes in this movie. It was killing me, bro. It was killing me.
There were mad props to him for sure. I was like, this is great.
And, I liked the sweet guy, James Scully, who played Charlie. I thought he was so sweet. And I thought him and Bowen Yang really had such adorable chemistry together. And it gave me the kind of tingles that like a good rom-com does, where it's a little bit fantastical, but they just have such a cute chemistry. You just can't help but want them to like get together in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Who was the love interest for Noah?
That would be Will, the character name, and the actor is Conrad Ricomora, is how I'm going to choose to pronounce it, but so sorry if I've mispronounced it. Thank you so much for your performance, because he was really, really good too.
He was really good too. Their relationship was very, interesting. I was definitely all for Howie and Charlie. Noah and Will, though, I was like, there's so much here. So many different layers, and it's so hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
So fun to play around with. So many long scenes, too.
Yeah. There were definitely parts of this movie that felt a lot more like a play and had even the jumping and the bouncing from character to character that feels more like a staged play. So I just appreciated how lived in this group of friends felt, how lived in the place that they were clearly felt, because, this is a real place that has this amazing festival type experience every year for the folks who come through. And so it's just really cool to see that all these characters, while they didn't necessarily get full stories, I'm thinking of Matt Rogers and Tomas Matos, who played Luke and Keegan. They didn't really get to have a huge story outside of, Luke being taken advantage of by Dex. But the guy who played Keegan, Tomas, was the best. Just made me really miss being in New York, where there's just so much more. I don't know, I guess like there's just so much more flamboyance because the stage exists in New York. While of course there's flamboyance in Los Angeles, of course. There's just something about, that New York vibe that I really appreciated and especially fell in love with those guys. Let's talk about some of the scenes that stuck with us, because I think for me, number one is the fact that there were several renditions of Britney Spears' Sometimes circulated throughout the film, which I really appreciate, as you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Loved that.
Loved that. I think the soundtrack to this was really spot on, and I think it says a lot about the movie when I'm going to compare it to Crazy Rich Asians too, because I think that the soundtrack for that was baller.
Hell yeah.
And it's just I think it says something when you hear about the soundtrack being so cool before even seeing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Songs really, really help a movie a lot. I'm a big fan of a music soundtrack or a movie soundtrack. All the Britney Spears stuff for it, and just every single thing in the movie was pretty awesome.
So good. Yeah, like having a dance off when they're at the stage, and him sort of doing Will finally getting a little less tight and having a little bit of fun there in the dance off, and all the crazy cool parties that they went to, and the like house party they went to with those rich guys, kind of showing, every group of people has cliques. I appreciated that.
I definitely did too. I was like, okay, cool. This definitely highlights the unspoken, I guess, cliques in the gay community. I guess I can say that. I'm gay. I mean, I think any community is super cliquey. I think that with this one, we haven't seen anything where it shows those cliques. So it was kind of cool seeing that. I thought the first party scene they went to with Will and Charlie and Cooper. I loved fucking Cooper.
Yes.
We have not talked about Cooper. Cooper was the super bitchy one.
Oh.
He was actually my favorite. I thought he was so good.
So sweet.
Yeah. Fun time.
Yes. Have you seen the show on HBO, The Other Two? It's from the former co-head writers of SNL a little while back now, but it's basically about a sibling duo whose younger brother kind of gets like Justin Bieber style famous, and it's about them being related and also maybe trying to get careers going. It's called The Other Two, and Nick Adams, the guy who played Cooper, he plays like a gay influencer on the show who just does everything for like the gram, and he is so funny. So seeing him here just made me so happy because he's so different. He was so mean, and I really wasn't expecting that. He was really going out of his way to like kind of mess around with Howie and what Noah was trying to do for him. And so it was interesting to just see like all the different dynamics they created and the little miniature story dramas they have in between everyone, just because it's a lot of fun to watch a story that I don't know.
Same.
Also, I have to say, it was pretty crazy to also tackle like the idea of posting hookup videos and mixing in the consent element. I thought that was like really, really cool too, because it's so easy for, I think, people to stereotype gay dudes as using all kinds of drugs and getting really fucked up and just having a lot of sex. And that's certainly fun, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people being totally taken advantage of. And so I really appreciate that they also shed a light on that.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised with that being the thing that Will was trying to warn Noah about with Dex.
I know.
And to be honest with you, I was like, who the fuck is Dex?
He's so hot. He was so hot. Holy shit, he was so hot.
Yeah, he's so hot. I was like trying to find him. I was like looking up the character and stuff online, and I was like, wait, which character is Dex? And obviously I figured it out, but I was wondering like, what could the secret be? Did they used to date? And I guess it ultimately came down to he does shit like that where he just posts himself having sex with other guys without their permission online or on his own website, which is like, what the fuck?
Well, exactly. It's like, of course, that, something like that happens, but you just don't think of it as a thing that, like, when there is this much openness and freedom, that people would also maybe exploit. And so I think it was really cool to be like, look, this gets exploited, and, we're all trying to have fun and be free and open and welcoming to each other, but that means we also have to take care of each other. So I love how they're like, oh, absolutely not. And Noah just like marches right up to Dex to be like, listen, you are deleting this thing, give us what we want, and then your phone is in the water now. Exactly the kind of friendship storytelling that maybe we only get to have on a TV show. And I like that we get it in a movie, because I don't have time to watch TV shows unless they're Chucky or I Know What You Did Last Summer or Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, same. I like that we were able to focus a lot on shit like that, or like the love story part of it. I like that this group of friends that we follow isn't picture perfect by any means. I think that they did a really great job of casting it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long way. I think we were able to see this idea of what picture perfect is and what does that even really mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot here that was really enjoyable. To pivot forward to our yay or nay segment, are you interested in recommending this, or are you going to tell people to pass on it?
I would definitely recommend it. I do wonder, for outside of my scope, like obviously I was definitely interested in seeing it. And because it is mainstream, growing up, any sort of like gay movie I did see, I used to think, I guess at that point now I would describe it as like indie. I just knew it wasn't mainstream.
Right.
And I don't want to say it was like taboo, because I was still really young when I'm like, oh my God, that's a movie about two gay guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm interested to see what the overall impact it has, which maybe it's not even that serious. But I mean, how many people actually watch it, if it gets good ratings or not. But I guess I would recommend it. It's definitely pretty...
It's rated R.
Rated R.
Of course, to all of my adult friends, I am going to recommend it. And I think like I'm open to recommending it across the board, but I guess I do have to attach the disclaimer, just like I would if there was going to be like graphic sex in any movie I was going to tell someone to watch. Like, I'm going to warn them about if there's like some pretty graphic sex. And honestly, like, I appreciated it, because there's never sex in movies anymore. There never is. So any chance we can get, even if it's mostly being played for comedy here, I'm still okay with it, because
Me too.
We shouldn't be ashamed of having sex. And we certainly shouldn't be ashamed of this amazing room where everyone has consented and is enjoying themselves and is exactly like the orgy tent at Burning Man. No one has a problem with that either. So I appreciated just showing all of these things with the exact normalcy they exist in.
Yeah.
In my next life, when I'm a gay man, I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is a good point. There aren't really any, or at least I haven't seen in a moment, any good gay sex scenes. There's no good sex scenes at all in any movies that I've seen lately. So yeah, I was surprised.
Totally.
I was like, of course there's going to be awesome sex scenes in this. Fine, fun, family fun.
Yeah, fine family fun if all the children are adults.
If all the children are adults.
Oh man, definitely recommending it, because I really, really liked this one. So any final comments before we wrap this up?
Good job. I think it was well written. There were a lot of funny moments in there. I think the actors carried it really well. And yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what I have to say about it in regards to final notes. What about you?
Perfect. Well, I feel the same. It's really cool to see Disney's acquisition of Fox resulting in Searchlight being able to produce movies that can come to Hulu. And, now seeing how some of the studios being absorbed creates a new kind of streaming experience, I'm really grateful for. So I'm very happy that Hulu gave me another great film following Fresh, because No Exit was really scary and Fresh was a great step up. And now we have Fire Island, which is as good a movie as something like Emergency, made from a filmmaking space and doing its best to capture a world that is exciting and fun and emotionally moving. Thanks a lot, Hulu and Searchlight. Way to go, you guys.
Yeah, you killed it.
Okay. That about wraps it up for us. Thank you again for listening to Stream Queens and for breaking down the Hulu original film Fire Island.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Queens of Stream to stay up to date with all our shows. And personally, I'm at RobAlex86 and she's at Shani B Movies.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Hope to see you next time on Stream Queens.